Okay, now I'm pretty happy with the design, so I'm going to start applying colors. So I'll start with the base for the skin. The skin is a little bit, and we'll have some yellow, but the yellow will be dissipated afterwards with other colors. We don't want this to be too yellow, of course. It has to be a little yellow. Is always a little tricky. I spent some time in Montmartre in Paris, and I was with some painters there, and they told me, why are you worried about the nose? It's just like a tunnel. It's a straight tunnel. Don't worry about it. Make it your own, they said. It does not need to be a perfect nose per known standards. That's what art is all about after all, isn't it? We create our own standards. If we do exactly the way it is, then it's not art. Or it's a simplified version of art. We are all artists in a way, by the way. We are all artists of life. I hear some people say they have no talent with art. Yes, we do. We just have not understood the type of art we can create. Words can be art. Gestures can be art. A smile can be art. Don't limit yourself with beliefs that have been put in your mind, falsified. Okay, so we have the yellow base here. So of course I always use a lot of white and a lot of this very light pink that has a lot of natural skin colors, and then you'll see that I mix a lot of colors here to create the skin effect. It takes a while to get it to where I want it to be. So the skin is really challenging me to push my boundaries. You all know that the skin is our biggest organ, right? It can tell you a lot about your overall health. And about who you are. Alright, so I'm going to fade that in a little bit. It's also important in pastel, and you'll see I apply a fixative. I say that in French better, but it's important to apply the fixative regularly because pastel has a tendency to go away. You know, it's a little bit like an escape artist. You put it on and then little wind, it goes away, it dismisses you, it ignores you. And then you have to apply it again and you say, okay, I'm gonna add a little more. So you, with the fixative, it really forces it to stay there. And then you can add and create more layers because layers are critical. They're critical with any type of medium, whether it's oil or acrylic or pastel. You know, the more layers you have, the richer your art will look. So here I'm continuously applying colors. I will add some pink. It's important to have a good balance of very warm colors like yellow and orange with colors that are a little bit more cool like red and pink, because pink makes you look healthier, right? If you're too yellow, then it doesn't look very healthy. But pink is going to give this woman a little bit of a healthier look, which is what we want. We don't want her sick. So there's no rule about where you apply it. I mean, there's some rules, but what's important is to create a little bit of a 3D effect, because that's what faces are. They are all 3D, which is at the beginning it's a little hard to understand that and to reproduce it, because there's so many dimensions in your face. You know, sometimes I feel I get it, I have it, and then I realize, no, something's missing, and I have to add more depth to it. So that's what I love about pastel, is that you can really mix all these colors and create these beautiful shades of mixed colors. I know, I just love it. Don't know why, but I just love it. I was ashamed so often when people ask me, what are you doing? What do you do? What's your specialty? I say, oh, I'm in marketing. Hey, don't misunderstand me. I love marketing, but at my core, I can now say that I am an artist. took me a long time to understand that and to be actually comfortable in saying that yes, I am an artist. And being an artist in marketing is actually a good feeling, because the best marketers are the ones that can create what others don't. And in order to create what others don't, you have to know yourself. This is why a lot of artists reach their full potential, the climax of their art, when they are older. And yes, I'm getting older, so that's probably why I'm starting to feel more comfortable in applying or living or embracing who I am. Some can do it a lot sooner, and that's why they succeed much sooner. Everybody does things on their own time. There's no one way to be. There's just the importance to be. Just to be. Be you. Don't be scared of being you. Don't listen to what others think. They have no clue. You are the only one who knows. I made that mistake too. Always being worried about what others think. And actually, what others think is none of your business. Remember this, at the end of the day, people think of themselves first. 99.9% of the time. They think of themselves first. So if they comment on you, judge you, they are judging themselves through you. So don't take anything personally. You can always listen, take some of it, but leave most of it, because most of it is going to hurt you if you pay, and stop you if you pay too much attention to it. Okay, so I'm starting to see a little bit more shape, interesting, and she's starting to become alive. That's what I like. I started painting faces because I felt very alone. I lived with a man that I loved for a few years, but he was an alcoholic, and I had many times where I felt desperate and very alone because of his disease. And painting is really what saved me, because I just sometimes did not know what to do, what decisions to make. So when I did not know, I just expressed all my hurt and my pain, my anger, my sorrow in my paintings, and this is what you see in them. There's a story to each of them. This is why I'm depicting in the show Her. It is called Her, that will be going made available to the public soon. I want to share my stories so that my stories can help you. That's the bottom line. I want my stories to help you. And I want to lift women up all over the world, wherever they are in the world. Because women, I've always known that, but I've always believed that they are the core of society. But they are too often mistreated, misrecognized, put down, laughed at, disregarded, and that is not okay. This is why I decided to do something about it. Because women are just amazing, but most of the time they just don't know it. Will you help me spread the word and make sure they know it? I need your help. I can't do this all on my own. Okay, so as you can see, I have spent a little bit of time adding all the black. There's a lot of black on this painting. And like I mentioned before, I add some blue colors to give that interesting nuance to the blacks, but it does not look just black, and it gives it a little bit of dimension as well, right? So, there we go, and then we'll add a little bit more of it later. So I'm going to start working on the garment. I'm going to add a little bit of blue to give a little bit more dimension, darker blue here. Just want to create some shade here. What's really important also is determine where the light is coming from, because depending on where the light is coming from, you will have to slightly change some of the shades in the painting. So for me here, the light is coming from the bottom upwards. So this means that the face will have more light here, so I'm going to have to adjust a little bit the face and the shade on the left to be a little bit darker, because it's really the right side of her face that is supposed to get more light. So that needs to show on the piece. It's important. I mean, it's not that you have to. Like I say all the time, you have to create, and you don't have to do anything. You just try to do something that makes more sense, because sometimes things that make more sense create a better result, right? So for me, I will have to pay attention to the fact that the light, I want the light to come from the bottom right of the painting, so I will accentuate those right areas to confirm that that's exactly what is happening. Like I mentioned before, in pastel you have to have layers. I just don't like when you see the paper through the material. So adding layers is a good idea, and then I use this professional fixative here. So I always, whenever I do something, I try to add some of that, so that it just fixate the colors, and then I can always add onto them afterwards. I have a tendency to let it dry first in those areas that I've been working on. Alright, so now I need to work on the colors of her garment, and there is, of course, a lot of blue, white, grayish colors. That's what I like to implement. So I'm using a gray here. So I'm using different types, different brands. It's not that I'm married to one brand. I really don't care. I just want the right colors. That's always what I'm looking at. Do I follow rules all the time? No, because first of all, I don't know rules too much, and I don't like rules too much. I think that's what constrains a lot of artists. They are trained in the same schools, and they are given the same rules, and they try to apply the same rules. Therefore, creativity is a little bit reduced because you follow rules. For me, I've always been like that. I just don't love rules. So because I don't love rules, I create my own, and that helps being more creative, right? I'm less constrained, let's put it this way, which is something I like, and which is something not everybody likes, but like I said before, who cares? And that's interesting. Sometimes people look at me and see me react, and they say, oh, she's French. All right. Whatever works for you. Maybe it's because I'm French, or maybe it's just because I have a true artist mind of freedom of expression. And I don't like to be bound by rules that have been created by people that are just different from me, so they don't know. Then again, that's the way society is made, and especially in this country. You know, in the United States, people have a tendency to follow everybody like sheep, and they follow the herds, and that's why a lot of them are not as creative as they could be, because they follow the herds. In principle, I am against following herds. I am pro-individualistic behavior and individualism in enterprise, whether it's business enterprise, love enterprise, creative enterprise. I think having your own personality and the courage to be who you are is, to me, the most important. But most people are scared about this. They are scared because we have been taught that this is not the way to be, right? Follow the rules, that's what we've been taught. And as a woman, it's just like for men, but I think as a woman, more than for men, you have to have the courage to put your foot down and be who you are. And not let your partner, your lover, your husband, whoever, put barriers. I'll tell you how it is that you need to be, because like I said before, they just don't know. It's hard. It's hard because we want to fit in, whether we want to fit in society or we want to fit in a marriage or a relationship. We often delude ourselves because we are trying to fit in. Gosh, I've done that so many times. When I was younger, I did that. And guess what? I was miserable. I then did not allow anybody to put me in a cage or put me in jail, because each time I couldn't breathe and I had to escape. So I escaped. And gosh, we did not like that. Even my family, we did not like that. Said, you're always gonna be alone. You'll never be with someone. And my response to that was, so be it, I don't care. I'd rather be alone and happy than miserable with someone. So yeah. If God wants me to be alone, I'll be alone because I want to be able to breathe. To breathe. Because remember, if you can't breathe, you can't be. And if you can't be, you'll never be fully satisfied, and you'll be always stressed out. And when we are stressed out, we cannot create in an optimum fashion. It's impossible. Alright, so I'm using colors that I typically don't use. I mean, those pink and blue colors. This is not typically my signature colors, so I may start with those. I'm not sure I'm going to stick with those. So I'm going to try, and I probably will add some additional colors that are more rich colors. See here, by instinct, I picked up a reddish color, which is more the type of colors I would typically use, because I like paintings that have a lot of warmth, and to have a lot of warmth you have to use those warm colors, right? So I don't know if that makes any sense, but I just figured I have to put some red here. Over the kimono is normally more white. This is where you have the white with the blue shades, because the blue shades can be part of the white created by the sky or the coloring of the environment. So see, I'm adding some red here, but like I said before, I may not keep it. So I'm making this left color a little bit darker. Like I said before, it's supposed to be darker because it is the darkest color. It's not impacted by the light that comes from this area here more. So we're gonna have to make it a little darker. Which is what I'm gonna do, using darker blues and a little bit of purplish. It's not really purple, but it's purplish blue. So that's a geisha, right? Geishas were high-end luxury Japanese prostitutes, and I'm depicting her here because it's just another example as to how women are or can potentially be abused to satisfy the basic needs of the other sex, which I'm not going to spend too much time on. It's better I don't, because you have to know where to stop and what to address and what not to address. You know, a lot of it is about control too. I see so many people cheating on each other, and you know, it happens on both sides, but it happens more with men. And you know, my grandmothers and some women in the family would tell me, hey, they are men, they need it. I'm like, okay, well, that's great, but I don't need them. You know, I believe it's all about control and respect. And if men can't control those needs, then I can't respect them. Some can, some can't. So if you can't, and if you're a man and if you're here and listen to me here, don't be in a serious relationship with a woman. You'll never be in a relationship, a good one with a woman, if you can't control your needs. You're gonna end up making her suffer, making everybody suffer. So why? Why are you even doing this? It's like, you know, when you're a man and you're a closet gay and you never were able to face it and admit it, and you've been married for 30 years, and then suddenly you say, hey, maybe I'm closet, maybe I'm gay, but I'm not sure, so I'm going to try to still date a little bit, date more women, and now that I'm divorced, you know, maybe I can date women and confirm that maybe I am gay. Well, to me that's disgusting. You're using someone to confirm your gay tendencies. To me that's disgusting. And that too has happened to me. You know, I think I've read it all with men. I've read the cheater, the liar, the gay guy, the alcoholic, the abuser, the psychopath. I've had them all. So maybe I needed to learn about that so that maybe I can share that with you. The bottom line is I never let go of myself. I never accepted abuse very long. I put an end to it very quickly. Nobody has the right to put you down. Nobody. Nobody has the right to try to make you feel inferior, and you know, you will only feel inferior if you let them. Nobody can force you to be something you don't want to be they can intimidate you, that they can do, and they do it because they know so very often it works. But you are the one who will allow them to do that to you. This is why I think it's really critical for women to develop more self-confidence. Stand on your own. My father always told me, don't ever depend on a man. Don't depend on a man financially. Don't depend on a man emotionally. You have to be self-standing so that no matter what happens in life, you are okay. You are independently able to live your life. That's so important. And that's a message I want all young women to hear here. Build your own career, develop your own way to make an income, and work on your self-confidence. It doesn't mean being obnoxious, being self-confident. It means knowing who you are and standing up for yourself. That's what it means. Alright, so I'm going to add a little bit more shades here of blues. And again, that's work in progress. I'm going to do it, but I don't know if I'm going to keep those colors. I'm not sure if I like them. Alright, so I've decided to add some rays of sun because I think she exudes energy. She has all this energy, all this life in her, and she can't wait to be able to find a door that will be opening for her, that will allow her to become really what she was meant to be on this earth. So I'm going to still work a little bit more on this, and check out my website and my social media, and then you'll see the final art. Thank you so much for watching, for your time, and see you next time.